I am therefore particularly delighted to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Stuart Shanker. Dr. Shanker is a distinguished research professor of philosophy, psychology, and education at York University. He received his education at the University of Toronto, where he won a scholarship for further study at the University of Oxford. He received his doctorate at Oxford with distinction in philosophy. He has an extensive list of publications, including several books such as Calm, Alert, and Learning, Classroom Strategies for Self-Regulation, and many other books and articles. Dr. Shanker's current research and area of focus is self-regulation. Self-regulation is the ability to manage one's own emotions and behaviors to help achieve positive outcomes, such as learning and well-being. Initially focusing on the development of self-regulation in children, Dr. Shanker has recently become interested in applying these concepts to post-secondary students and to adults outside the academic world, based on an extended understanding of the fundamental processes involved. Over the past decade, Dr. Shanker has served as an advisor on early childhood development to government organizations both nationally and internationally. He served as the 2012 Thinker in Residence for Western Australia. Some of you are thinking about a career path. You might want to contemplate that one for a moment. In Canada, he is currently the CEO of the Merit Centre at York University, a privately funded, state-of-the-art social and cognitive neuroscience center whose goal is to build on new knowledge of brain development to promote learning and emotional health. Dr. Shanker has had a relationship with George Brown College over the past few years, initially with our School of Early Childhood because of his work on development. More recently, he was the keynote speaker for our annual mental health conference in February and has begun working with us to identify better ways to support learning for students and staff across the college. I am pleased that he is able to be with us today to speak to our graduates at this important transition in your lives. Dr. Shanker, will you please address Convocation?
Madam Chancellor, Madam President, members of the Platform Party, graduates, George Brown faculty and staff, ladies and gentlemen. As I thought about this event, I couldn't help but wonder what George Brown himself might have said were he in my place today. I know that he would have started by congratulating all of you on your wonderful achievement, not just the graduates and their families, but the faculty, the staff, and the administration of this college. But for Brown, this college would have been about so much more than just an opportunity to acquire professional training or a post-secondary education in the arts and sciences. He would have insisted that this college is about building a great city and a great nation, and that what you graduates are taking away with you is so much more than a certificate, a diploma, or a degree. Brown dreamed of a nation, one that was grounded in the principles of justice and equality. He argued that the key to a strong confederation is universal education, and he insisted in a very famous editorial in the Toronto Globe that education should be viewed not as a charity, but as a right. And of course, he believed that a great multicultural city needed a great multicultural college to nurture its future leaders, as Premier Davis reminded us when he inaugurated this college. What Brown could not have anticipated, what not even Premier Davis could have anticipated, is that a small college in the heart of Toronto would have this incredible impact far beyond the city boundaries, even the now expanded city boundaries. Time and again, the faculty and students at GBC have what I like to call punched above their weight. They've taken some promising idea and turned it into a truly transformative social phenomenon, something that I can actually speak to from personal experience, from my own involvement with this college. My own training, as Georgia mentioned, was in the psychophysiology of self-regulation. This is a theory which dates back to the middle of the 19th century. It became the driving force of several different fields, most notably artificial intelligence, child development, and then late in the 20th century, psychiatry. The theory looks at how an individual copes with stress, and more importantly, how the individual recovers from the expenditure that he's made when dealing with that stress. What's particularly important here is what happens when the stress load is too high. The individual's capacity to recover declines. It declines significantly, and this often results in mental and/or physical problems. The unmistakable sign of when this is starting to happen to a child is that the slightest thing can send that child into what is called fight or flight. If this happens to a child too frequently, the child starts to find it very difficult to return to that state of being calmly focused and alert. What's particularly worrying is the number of children throughout Canada who are now showing the signs of excessive fight or flight. We see these signs in their behavior, their emotions, their cognitive skills, their social skills, and their pro-social traits. These are all signs of children that are chronically overstressed. As a result, a number of major initiatives have been launched across the country to enhance self-regulation in children from the ages 0 to 17. What we do is we work on helping them identify and reduce the stressors in their lives. Then we develop adaptive coping strategies for dealing with those stresses. What we overlooked, however, is that this problem of increased stress load is now especially acute in post-secondary students. Recognizing the seriousness of this issue, a number of George Brown faculty have begun to work with my team at the Merit Center to develop a suite of what we call self-reg tools to help these students deal with the heavy demands of college and with the stressors that you are about to encounter as you set out on a new job or a new phase in your lives. But of course, the impact will be even greater, as you self-reg grads will impart this knowledge and skills to families, co-workers, and members of the general communities. In other words, just the sort of major societal impact that George Brown would have wished for, so much that I suspect that all the faculty would have received for all this work would have been a pat on the back and a gentle nothing less than what I expected. The truth is that if you create a college whose mandate is to nurture future urban leaders, you cannot help but influence the social capital of the entire nation. And George Brown College has succeeded in this mandate across the board. In general arts and science, in computer technology, early childhood education, the health sciences, business, the hospitality industry, culinary arts, architecture, and of course, construction and engineering. The list of GBC's graduates reads as a who's who of Toronto, and indeed the nation's leaders in all these different disciplines. I say all this because it's critical that the graduates gathered here today follow their school's example. You all need to punch above your weight. You may have thought that you were just getting a diploma or a certificate, but with this comes a duty. The college is based on 4 core values. Those are the importance of creating an emotionally safe environment that fosters reciprocal dialogue, a commitment to excellence, the importance of responsibility, and the respect for diversity. Brown was convinced that Confederation isn't just the result of a federated political union. He felt that it is only possible when there is a national identity that is forged by these 4 core values. George Brown College is the epitome of George Brown's dream. And you are now the ambassadors as well as the beneficiaries of this incredibly inspiring vision. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. I would now like to ask Ann Sato to come to the podium to say a few words about this year's recipient of an honorary diploma in General Arts and Science.
Thank you, Dr. Shanker, not only for that encouraging address, but also for the important work that you've done to explore how students can better manage emotions and behavior during the learning process. Your groundbreaking research on self-regulation and your collaboration with multiple departments at George Brown have moved us to present you with an honorary diploma in the General Arts and Science program. We value the contributions your research has made to our General Arts and Science curriculum and look forward to expanding its usage across the college. Your professional accomplishments and commitment to helping others make you a fitting role model for our students. It is with great pleasure that I congratulate you on joining our long legacy of distinguished George Brown graduates. If I could ask our Chancellor and Dean Quintero and Dr. Shanker to come forward.